Boeing reported better than expected first quarter results on Tuesday, but the aerospace and defense company is still burning through cash as it seeks to overcome quality control issues that have plagued it this year. Hi, everyone. I'm Rosemary Miller here with Jeremy Bogaisky, a senior editor here at Forbes. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jeremy.
Oh, glad to be here.
Jeremy, it looks like Boeing's defense and services businesses are picking up some of the slack from its commercial airplane division, but the overall company is burning through cash and sales were lower than last year. Is Boeing able to work through its problems, especially with the 737 MAX model, the one that had a door panel fall off mid-flight in January?
Well, the first step is to admit that you got a problem, and Boeing has been very forthright that it does know that it has problems, and it has been slowing the production line at the 737 factory in Renton, Washington. It's acknowledged that it's emphasized raising production and pushing planes through to delivery to the detriment of quality. And now it's trying to increase quality, but that's going to take time.
So speaking of time, what do you think the outlook is for the 737 MAX model in coming months?
Um, well, the production line really has slowed dramatically. According to a firm that watches the number of planes that roll out of the factory, there are only 4 planes that were delivered in the first 3 weeks of April. Nominally, Boeing was at a production rate of 38 737s a month earlier in the year. At least I said they were. So come down a long way. What they say they're concentrating on is making sure that work is done in order, reducing what's called in the industry traveled work, where the plane advances to another station on the assembly line without work being completed. And they try to finish up what needs to be done out of sequence. A key part of reducing traveled work is dealing with the company that makes the plane bodies or fuselages of the 737, a company called Spirit Aerosystems, which is based in Wichita, Kansas. Used to be a division of Boeing. They spun it off about 20 years ago, and now they've been having a lot of problems with the fuselages coming out of Spirit. That was part of the problem with the Alaska Airlines incident, where there was a door panel that fell off in part because the fuselage needed rework done on rivets, and the door panel was open to allow that to be done. Workers at the Boeing factory, it's believed, didn't reinstall bolts to hold the door panel in place. So now Boeing is saying that they are not accepting fuselages from Spirit that have any problems at all with them. And so that's led to a smaller number of fuselages in the short term being delivered. And they say the outlook for raising production rates again basically depends on the rate at which clean fuselages come out of Wichita. And on the earnings call today, company executives said that they don't expect production to come back up in a meaningful way through the first half of the year as they work through improving these quality issues. In the second half of the year, they are hoping to get back to 38 737s a month. But it's going to be a process.
So, on the earnings call, outside of the commercial airplane operations, were there any high points acknowledged?
Certainly, one bright spot was the defense division, Boeing Defense and Space. It reported a operating profit for the first time since the fourth quarter of 2022. That division has been something of a hot mess. They've been struggling with some problems on a variety of programs where they have uh, fixed price contracts. So when they have problems, Boeing is eating the losses. Defense Department isn't giving them extra money. And so returning to profitability on an operating basis, that's a big turning point for Boeing Defense and Space. And then the services division, Boeing Global Services, continues to print money. It's a division that's focused on selling parts and maintenance services to owners of Boeing aircraft and products. And right now, with both Boeing and Airbus, its main competitor, are having problems producing as many planes as airlines would like. So airlines are keeping older planes flying longer, and so that means the market for replacement parts for maintenance is really hot right now. It's a great business to be in, and so Boeing Global Services is doing very well as a result.
So I want to go back to the defense part. Is the defense business, is it benefiting from the situations in Ukraine and Gaza?
Um, Not appreciably yet. There's an expectation throughout the defense industry that the uh, that there should be a bump in orders, and not only due to those situations, but also due to a rising emphasis at the Defense Department to prepare for a potential war with China. There's a mounting realization in Washington that the level of inventory of major weapons, missiles, is too low for a sustained conflict with a near peer adversary. And also with Ukraine, we've exhausted a lot of stockpiles of, for example, 155 millimeter artillery shells, Stinger missiles, anti-tank missiles. We need to build those back up. So there's an expectation on the part of many defense companies that they're going to benefit, but as of yet, the contracts really haven't gone out in a big way. And Boeing is their defense business also is in not as good shape as its peers, in part because it's saddled with a bunch of defense programs that it won by bidding low in the last decade, with the expectation that they could offer a low price and break even or turn a profit in the long term, benefiting from the fact that the commercial aircraft business was so strong that money from that side would subsidize the defense side in bidding low and then making money on maintenance sustainment in the long run on those contracts. Then the 737 MAX problems arose, and the commercial aircraft business has not been strong, and it is not compensating for the problems that the defense side has had on a lot of these contracts where they've had quality problems, they've had delays. We're talking about programs like the KC 136 tanker, the NQ-25 drone Navy tanker, the T-7 a trainer. Those are all programs where Boeing is having a lot of quality problems, excuse me.
Well, Jeremy, I'm curious because you mentioned the commercial aircrafts. Are airlines who aren't using Boeing planes, are they having a better year than the airlines who are?
Um, I don't think it's a situation where it breaks down that easily because Airbus is also having its own issues with meeting its promises on airplane deliveries. It's had supply chain issues that have held back production. And also Airbus planes have also had problems with their engines. Pratt and Whitney supplies engines for the A320, which is a very popular narrow-body plane, and Pratt and Whitney's GTF, geared turbofan engines have had durability problems that have required planes of a certain age to be taken out of service for engine inspections. And right now, those inspections are taking a lot of time because engine shops are very backed up. So throughout the airline industry, airlines are unhappy with both Boeing and with Airbus. So I would believe the level of disgruntlement is perhaps a little higher with Boeing.
Well, Jeremy, finally, let's talk about the CEO of Boeing, Dave Calhoun. He plans to resign at the end of this year. How does the management situation play into Boeing's quality issues?
Well, there's a fairly widely held belief that Boeing has had a succession of CEOs that have been overly concerned with making investors happy and less focused than they should be on maintaining engineering quality. And some would tell you that that goes back to 1997 when Boeing merged with its competitor, McDonnell Douglas. And in subsequent years, McDonnell Douglas executives came to play very key roles in the company. Dave Calhoun isn't a former McDonnell Douglas person. He came out of General Electric. He was a protege of Jack Welch. And there's a criticism that's been raised of that a lot of executives came out of that era of GE are also very financially focused. And so the sort of consensus view is Boeing needs a new CEO who, if not actually an engineer, someone who has a background in airplane program development and program management, and not someone who comes from a finance background.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me today.